First of all, welcome. Happy New Year. We're glad to have you on our first show of the new year. And I'm glad you moved out of the piano bar back into your office.
See everyone so observant this early in the year too.
Yeah, exactly right. Hey, listen, talk about these two proprietary drug platforms.
Sure. So if you look, what we're doing is one area is in kidney disease, which is, really a pandemic in the United States. We're spending over $50 billion in Medicare expenses to try to manage, diabetic kidney disease, Alport syndrome, and other associated kidney diseases. And there has been a lot of innovation over the last 20 years. And we're really in a great spot here. We're going into our first clinical trial starting out this quarter, looking for some data by the middle of the year around our first product. And that product is really intended to reduce the progression of kidney disease to end-stage kidney disease or dialysis. And once you get into dialysis, you head towards transplant. It's a horrible progression for a lot of patients. It's a major problem.
That's the VAR 200, right, Steve?
That's VAR 200.
And we're talking about, what are we talking about addressable market size here? Did I hear you say last time $70-80 billion or something of addressable market?
Between the two platforms and indications that we're going after, the total available market is about $75 billion. Yeah. If you bifurcate that, it's about $13 billion in the kidney space, and the remainder of that is over $60 billion in indications and inflammation.
Steve, as far as the cross-section of the people who are affected by kidney disease, is this something that it affects, 1 year to 100 years old, or is it something that we normally see once you get past a certain age?
Sure. So, if you look at kidney disease, it can onset in childhood, unfortunately, for some patients. If you look as you progress and you hit your 20s, you begin to see diabetes type 2 become a problem in your 20s. And for certain groups, you'll begin to see an onset of kidney disease at that point. And then there is, adult onset diabetes, which is basically 45 years of age forward. And that's where you'll see type 2 reappear as well.
Hey, Steve, can you tell me a little bit, we were just talking about the VR 200. Now can you talk about the IC 100?
Sure. So IC100 is a monoclonal antibody, fancy name for an injectable biologic. And it's really targeted at the inflammation issue that patients will incur, depending upon whether they get a viral infection or a bacterial infection that they haven't seen before, where the innate immune system, which is your first line of defense of your body, has to react to that insult, that pathogen or that virus. And when that happens, you stimulate your innate immune system. In other words, your first line of defense where you haven't had, an interaction with a pathogen like this before. And COVID is a perfect example that we all went through over the last couple of years. When that happens, you stimulate the structure in the innate immune system called the inflammasome, and that stimulates things like cytokines like IL-1 and IL-18. But really, for the patient experience, that's where you get this uncontrolled acute inflammation, and which leads into chronic inflammation. So it's a big issue.
Hey, Steve, with respect to the FDA, talk to us about where you are in the arc of that story.
So in our first program I mentioned, the renal program, we're sitting at going into human trials. And then with our inflammation program, we're nearing the end of our preclinical work. And so we've done all our animal work. We've done our safety testing, our preliminary safety testing in a whole host of different animal models. And so now we're moving forward towards the last stage where this year we'll complete our manufacturing, we'll complete our last toxicology testing with a target to the end of the year meeting with the FDA to open up an IND and move into phase 1 in the first half of 2025. So a big milestone for us.
Steve, as far as looking ahead to 2024, I know the waters have been kind of choppy the last couple of years. What do you foresee?
Well, I'm going out to JPM, which is the big industry conference next week, and with 15,000 of my closest global friends. And we're all going to be talking about this out there. And we're really optimistic. I actually put out a shareholder letter highlighting some of those things yesterday. I think we're in for a better market environment
I think so,
in
too.
2024. I think that's really important for everybody to understand that the decrease in inflammation and the reduction of interest rates will really help the industry. I think that's a big precursor. And I think the other thing that's really important for people to understand, there's been a lot of M&A activity in the industry. And I think you're going to see that continue in 2024.
Well, Steve, I can tell you that many of our guests are going to be up there at the same time. We may have a camera crew chasing you around up there, depending on what day you're up there. We'd love to follow you around, because I hear most of the work up there is not done inside the conference, but rather outside the conference in the lobby. I hear that's where the deals are made, right?
Well, it's funny you say that. I was joking with some of my CEO friends yesterday, some of which you know very well. And I don't think many of us have been in the JPM meeting itself at the St. Francis, probably in 20 years. It's all the other hotels, or I should say expensive hotel rooms that we all meet in on the street.
It's like a Jimmy Buffett concert. You know, I've been to 25 Jimmy Buffett concerts, never been out of the parking lot more than 3 times.
Right.
Exactly right.
A true parrot head.
Exactly right. Just like you, Steve. I know you pretty well. Hey, Steve, before we let you out here today, what are you looking most forward to over the next 3 to 6 months here with respect to either one of these drugs?
So I think, I always get excited when we're now moving into the first clinical human trial for us in our VAR 200. I mean, that's why we do this. We're trying to, save patients' lives and give them better quality of life. So I'm really excited about that. And I'm really excited to be able to move forward in the inflammation program towards the, the open IND, so we can begin to safety test in humans as well. So it's a big year for us, a lot going on, and we're just excited to move everything forward this year.
Well, we're looking forward to having you in studio in the next 3 months. It's not a big ask. It's San Diego after all, pal. We can get you going. Thank you, Steve. Steve Glover. ZyVersa Therapeutics, ZBSA. Go to ZyVersa.com.